Well, Warren Zevon on a big show. I overestimated the salary of Governor Kim K. Reynolds of the state of Iowa. She makes just $130,000 a year. I am now told by people in the know. Yes, caller.
Hey, good morning. This is Andy Crowner.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing just fine. Been sitting here listening to Mayor Billups talk. Pretty good interview. Appreciate knowing what's going on next door.
Yeah. I accidentally got him up against the news break and messed up the thing. I like to give him the last word because I let me see what we got here. Hello, caller.
Hey. So, two things real quick.
Yeah.
Right? So, number one, if you want to play double your money and all that stuff, make sure on 61 Highway that you drive really fast on that part where you get to drive on the new road. You get to play double your money.
Oh.
And then the other bit, okay, so whether it be the governor or whether it be a city manager, either way, you're paying the salary with stolen money. Right, so there's a stewardship issue to be discussed with that. But the other bit with that, is it's an unelected person telling elected people what to do.
You're talking about the city manager.
So
Gotcha. Yeah.
The city manager, right? And they say no, he serves at our thing. It's like, well, no, but if you ask any council person over the past decade, why they did something, it's always for no reason.
Well.
And that joke's going to be gone, and I'm really sad about that.
All right, then.
But no, for real, it's unelected person telling them what to do. Maybe if we can't get council people that can do math, maybe we pay the council more and get rid of that position.
All right, then.
Then you can get some people that do math. That's it.
All right. The Libertines checking in. No, I was pointing out that we're trying to come up with a salary for a city manager starting at, what did we say? What did he say? 155 or something like that. And the governor makes 130. So something's out of whack here. I do know, and John's right, that I have looked into other cities and they pay the crazy overpay number too. It's not like we're special.
I had previously been on the West Burlington School Board before I moved over to City Council, and we had just went through a superintendent search, and you have the same issue there where the people in those positions that have some experience make a lot of money. And we did the same thing. We hired a search firm to help us, and you just cannot get away from those high salaries because there aren't that many people that are really well qualified for those positions.
Wow. Yes, caller.
Sorry again, real quick. You're stealing money from people making $30,000 a year to pay somebody to do this. It's like the librarians thing is the thing. How many $100,000 librarians do you need at a library of people making $30,000 a year?
Gotcha.
It's the same type of deal. Elect people that can do math. You don't need somebody.
All right. This is Andy Crowner from West Burlington City Council. They are not looking for a city manager. They don't even have a city manager. They have a city administrator, a whole different animal in some ways. There's a meeting tonight, right, Andy?
You got a meeting tonight at West Burlington City Hall. We've got a lot of stuff on the agenda, but a lot of it is just kind of payments and things that we've already done in the past. And we're going to add a new fireman tonight and promote 3 others and sell some obsolete equipment and stuff like that. So really just 2 big things on the agenda tonight. Number one being the new water tower. We do have our public hearing tonight. I've had a lot of comments about how we're paying for this, and so right now is the time if you want to have your comment heard. Of course, we're kind of closed down because of COVID, but you can reach out to City Hall through their website, westburlington.org, and send in any comments you have about the water tower, and we'll have that hearing tonight.
Yeah, that 30-something% increase didn't go over well when you mentioned that the other day. It just sounds like a lot, but I get it. And the proposal is you're considering is a staggered, at least give them a chance to ramp up kind of deal?
You got it. That's what we're looking at right now. Mayor Hans had proposed this at the last meeting, and right now it looks like the least total overall cost to the city is to do a a staggered payment. So you would see rates rise about 10% in February of 2021. Then you'd see about 15% in July of 2022. So you're talking a year and a half, almost a year and a half later. And then another 15% in January of 2022 as well. So I think I've got one of those backwards. So you're kind of looking at 3 steps between February of 2021 and the middle of 2020.
Sort of an 18-month kind of phase-in sort of deal, looks like maybe, or I don't know.
You got it. And anybody doing the math on that, that's actually about 5% over what we've been talking about, a 35, 36%. And that's because we also have to raise rates, not relevant to the water tower, just to pay our water bill needs to go up at about 5%. So we got to work that in there too.
So, because you're in a fiscal year, you probably need to get the budget started pretty quick, right?
You got it. We're going to start our budget talks on the 16th. So not this meeting, but the next meeting. We'll have a work session after that. I'm hoping last year council set some priorities for our city manager to get a better long-term plan so we maybe don't run into these water tower issues. So we're hoping we have that before that meeting. It's been a year and haven't seen it. So hopefully by then we will have that.
Caller?
So when the water tower is paid for, are we going to get a water bill deduction?
Yeah, and it's easy to laugh at too, and I do because, a lot of times...
I'm asking you an honest question.
No.
That was me laughing. Go ahead.
Yeah, Fred laughed. A lot of times in government, especially in state and national, you don't see those kind of things come off. But I will tell you as a city councilman here, and I look over those numbers really closely, that Leslie at the city, she does a great job of taking those things back off.
Whoops. Go ahead.
But that is a 20-year rate increase to be able to cover that water tower. So you're talking quite a bit until that does come back off.
Curb, you and me would have to live past our life expectancies to see that refund, if any.
And my hope is, there's some things we can do on the back end of this to hopefully not hit, the single low-income person in West Burlington as hard as, maybe some of the rate increases go on the top-end users, which would be the heavy industrial users, if we can increase that slightly more. And then my hope is, too, we can maybe offset some of that with some tax reductions on the property tax side of things, just to bring your overall tax bill down.
Well, you ought to see now that they've changed the formulas for, what is it called? The emergency management deal. What am I trying to say, Andy?
Yeah, anytime you start looking at that, yes, that's going to shift some numbers around, just like the, state rollback shifts some things around, and then the county reassessments there a year ago shifted some numbers as well. But in the end, I always like to think of it as that money's still coming out of the person's pocket, whether they're paying it to this entity or another entity.
Right.
And that's why I think you look at, okay, what can we do on the property tax side to try to bring this down a little bit? But that's going to be tough to get those votes, too.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Since they shifted that emergency phone call deal, I'm blanking on the name of it. But that should that takes that part of the levy should be returned back to the city now, right?
I think you're talking about like the DESCOM.
DESCOM, yeah. Thank you. Jeez.
Yeah.
It was 89 cents for Burlington. I don't know what it is for West Burlington. It's a lot.
Yeah. I don't know the number off the top of my head, but what I have seen, obviously my father was on city council for 20 years, and I question him every day about things, and it's pretty easy to see, okay, we're going to save this 89 cents here. Let me guarantee you there's probably already a plan to spend that somewhere else, and it's probably been in motion for quite a while. So it'll be a fight and a discussion to try to get that money back.
Gotcha. Caller, go ahead.
Why was this not planned on? My first question. And what about other expenditures that you can should be planned on? But first of all, why was this not planned on? Thank you.
Yeah, that is my exact point and question as well. I know it has been known, and it was brought up as a priority I want to say 4 or 5 years ago that this was going to be an issue. And at that point in time, there were other things that took priority above that. But unfortunately, that shows to me a lack of really long-term planning, and that's what we're trying to fix now by getting down a good solid list or database of here's everything the city needs to replace over its entire future, and get that planned out and budgeted so we don't have this happen again. But that is not normal. It is more normal for a government to work like this, which I don't agree with, and kind of wait until something's broke and then borrow money and do it that way. But I hope we can change that. I'd like to change that. Right.
Yeah, you've talked about that for a long time, well before you were on council.
Yeah, that's just my personal belief. It's what I do in my house. I don't wait for my roof to fly off and all my shingles to fall off before I start saving for a new roof. And so I don't know why we do that as a city government, except for the fact that we can take your money anytime we want. So we don't need to plan. And I just think that's the wrong way to do it. Right.
Whereas that's that libertine should call back and say, yeah, here. What was the public hearing for comment on the stream restoration? What was that about? That's going to go on tonight.
Yeah, we are looking at the Luers Park area, which is across the street from Keystone. There's a little park in there. And when you hear park restoration, you're thinking, okay, well, maybe right now isn't the time to spend money on new playground equipment and those kind of things. But what we're actually talking about is the water system through that park. There's a little stream, there's some water runoff. And so we're looking at a stream restoration in there, and then a large section of water main going through that area, along with some new pavement and sidewalks. So that's a project that we've been looking at for a while, brought up by our City Works guys that this really needs to work and change the way that water's functioning in there and really change the water main and get that fixed. We've had quite a few problems with it. So we'll be setting a public hearing on that tonight and getting bids.
Gotcha. All right. Can you switch hats for me? If you would, switch over to Andy Crowner, Remax Realtor. I saw on the Instagram last night you had a nice closing on looked like a cute house over on Sioux Street, over by the airport.
Yeah, beautiful house and first-time home buyer. And you and I have talked a few times about a first-time home buyer guide. I've got it up on my website, and let me tell you, this person started that way. They went on the website, they downloaded that guide. We followed it step by step, and now he's got a beautiful house to move into here today, and just great client, and appreciate them using me as a realtor.
So if you go to andycrowner.com, you too can download any number of free things he has there. This particular thing, first-time home buyer's guide. There's also things about state grants and other info on that same website, and it's easy to do, andycrowner.com. Tell me what you have in the works for the weekend. It looks like good weather, although cold, maybe.
Yeah, you got it. But I'm going to do an open house this Sunday, 12:30 to 2, over at 1516 Parkway, which is in that same neighborhood over there by the airport. And really, really cute, 3-bed, 2-bath, 2-car garage, ranch, listed at $155,000. But I tell you what, I think if I was buying a house in this price range, this is a house I would buy. It's really cute. Got a screened-in back porch that's also heated, and then it's got a brand new open concept, updated kitchen, new furnace, new water heater, new radon system. So it's a great house. 1516 Parkway. I'll be there 12:30 to 2, wearing masks and making sure everybody's safe, but still showing houses.
3-bed, 2-bath, 2-car garage, fenced yard, $155. That sounds low.
Yeah, it's a great house. I'm really surprised it's still sitting on the market. It hasn't been on very long, but I think it'll sell real quick.
For other people selling, I know you get asked a lot. Is selling a seasonal thing? Should we wait for spring? Should we get caught up in the holidays? And what's your answer to that?
Yeah, I've been getting that a lot here the last week or two, especially since Thanksgiving. Should I list my house now, or do I wait for spring to come around? And I know historically this time of year is slow. There's not very many buyers. But I think this year is very different, and with the low interest rates the way they are today, and not knowing if those are going to be around still in the spring, especially with the change in federal government and what may happen there, I think right now is the perfect time to list. And there's not very many homes on the market, but there are a ton of buyers, and that's going to drive up the price of your home, get you more people bidding on it, and right now is the time to list.
This is Andy Crowner. You can go to his website at andycrowner.com. See all the information he has there for you and the resources. Yeah, you're right, because we are enjoying these historically low interest rates. It's a lot like the stock market in that one day suddenly it ends and you kick yourself for not having acted sooner, as the rates, can turn on a dime sometimes. At least historically they have been able to.
And we're looking, the National Association of Realtors puts out reports on what they think will happen. Obviously, they can't tell the future, especially in COVID times. But I think anybody looking at the housing market right now and seeing really a historically low rate has got to go, look, this has got to go back up. So they're thinking by next summer, the rates are going to be back up, maybe not where they were, but back up, half a point or 3/4 of a point. But when you talk about your house payment in those terms, that's quite a bit of money. So right now is a great time to buy, and that makes it a great time to sell, because you've got more buyers in the market. They know they can buy a house cheaper today than any other time. So having those amount of buyers, which you normally don't see in December and January, that's going to really drive up the market. And then we just don't have any homes. There's very few for sale right now in town. Compared to historical numbers, you're down like a quarter of the market.
Right.
So it's just not many homes to choose from. So you list your great house today. We've got more buyers and less competition. You're going to get more for your house.
Give me that open house time again and address.
Yeah, 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m., and it's on 1516 Parkway.
Sunday.
Burlington.
Sunday, right?
You got it,
yeah.
Sunday,
noon 30 to 2 p.m., 1516 Parkway is that street that runs from Madison to Summer?
You got it.
Yeah. All right. Hey, thanks, Andy. Good to hear from you. Did I leave anything out?
No, I just wanted to say, back to your prior conversation with Mayor Billups, I, in a former life, I had booked entertainment, really all over the Midwest and a lot here in town. And let me tell you, I couldn't do hardly any of that without Mike O'Neill. I think he does such a great job. He has done such a great job for me and West Burlington 4th of July. He runs sound and lights for that as well. And he really makes a lot of these local events come together. And so really appreciate his hard work down there at the auditorium, bringing fun acts in. I'm sure it's a hard time down there with COVID restrictions.
Oh, yeah.
I think he does a good job with what he's given. You
should see the beautiful tree and decorations they put up in the auditorium, around the auditorium, in the parking lot, and the stage and everything. Just beautiful. Go down there tonight if you get a chance. Yeah, last year I got the chance to play drums at that. I'm a drummer, and so I played with David Kroll at the tree lighting last year. Unfortunately, we couldn't do that this year, but it was fun. Who knew? All right. Thank you, Andy. Good to hear from you. Well, thank you. We'll talk to you soon. We'll talk soon. Thanks.